Okay, so we started out the trip, headed out about 9:30 in the morning. I was going to meet up with Brian down in the In-N-Out Burger down at the base of Ortega Highway. Met up with him, we checked our stuff, made sure we agreed on where we were heading and things like that, and headed out towards Ortega Highway. For those of you who don't know, Ortega Highway is just this incredible bypass, two-lane bypass that goes over the mountains that cuts between Orange County and Riverside County. Once we got off the Ortega Highway, we figured it was probably time to eat, and so we stopped off at the Landing Zone Cafe right there in Lake Elsinore. Got something quick to eat, chatted a bit, and then we headed again out on our way towards, this time towards Palomar Mountain. Palomar Mountain is one of those roads that is just really incredible to ride up and down. Very curvy, a lot of drop-offs and a lot of lookouts for everything. So we got all the way up to the telescope. From there, we headed towards Anza Borrego State Park. Anza Borrego is this really big desert landscape in San Diego County. And again, the closer we got to Anza Borrego, the hotter it got, and it was definitely in the mid-90s at this point. And we had about another hour to get to our campsite. By now, it was about, about 1 or 1:30 or so. So we continued on to our campground through the desert area there. Again, some windy roads, and we're about a mile away from our campground. Oh my God.
Pressure this way.
Oh.
What she said was they're going to send somebody by just because it's a multi-vehicle thing.
Yeah.
And if you could possibly get your car out of the way. I don't know.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
Can you move your car?
I can definitely move it. I just wasn't sure what they would want me to do.
I came around a turn, and it was a tighter turn than I expected. And as I came around the turn, there was a car on the other side of the road, and it spooked me enough to put a little brake on that sent me sliding, and I slid right into the car, broke the front left fork of the motorcycle. I flew off the motorcycle and rolled about 20 feet and got right up, but was completely out of breath. Lost my wind. Took me a minute or so to catch my breath. By then, Brian had caught up. He didn't see the accident, but he saw the aftermath of it. And so I was able to get up and realized right away that I had probably broken some ribs. It just felt tight on my right side, and I was pretty out of breath. But there was enough people, bystanders, that helped us out, called 911, moved the motorcycle out of the road, moved his car out of the road. Surprisingly, even though we were out in the middle of nowhere, surprisingly, there was an ambulance there in just about 25 minutes. Later on, I got into the ambulance, and it was an hour and a half ambulance ride to Palomar Hospital, which was basically all the way back towards Oceanside. And that was probably the most uncomfortable part of the whole trip. I was pretty disappointed, pretty sad by losing my bike, but some of those twisty roads in the back of an ambulance was not very comfortable. I made some phone calls as I was in the ambulance. One where I called Colin and immediately told him I was in the ambulance, but I'm okay, and I think that went through. But then the phone went dead. So we both frantically tried to get each other for the next 10 or 15 minutes while I got back into range of a cell tower and eased his angst about me. And I stupidly did the same thing to a buddy of mine as I was coming into Palomar Hospital. I texted a buddy of mine because I knew he lived close to there, asking him how close he was to Palomar Hospital. And then they brought me in the trauma room and took all my stuff away, and I couldn't get back to him. So he was left with trying to figure out what happened to me as well, and why am I talking about Palomar Hospital. I ended up cracking 3 ribs on my back right side, had a couple scrapes and bruises. It is now 2 weeks later, and most of those scrapes are gone or almost gone. Having gone through this experience, I learned a number of lessons. One was wearing the proper equipment and wearing it correctly. I was wearing my jacket. I was wearing a full face helmet. I did not have riding pants, but I did have riding boots. I did not have the wrists Velcroed from my jacket because it was hot. I was letting the air kind of go into my jacket that way. And that was how my right arm got a little abrased, was because I think that the jacket kind of rode up my arm as I skidded across the pavement. The only 2 other places I got rashes were on my knees, and I think that, again, had I been wearing riding pants, I would not have gotten that either. There was a nice scrape along the side of my helmet. I lost both my visors in my helmet, but my helmet stayed on, and I never blacked out. So again, wearing the right equipment and then wearing that equipment right, I learned. The second was, I think I probably started to get pretty confident in my riding ability by this time. We had been through probably 100 hairpin turns through Palomar Mountain and Ortega Highway and through the Anza Borrego Desert that I probably felt like I could handle anything. But I do remember knowing that every time I came around a corner and there was a car there, it kind of spooked me a little bit. And I should have taken that more seriously in just being a little bit more controlled in going around a corner like that, to anticipate the car that there is going to be a car there. I think in addition to that, we were only less than a mile away from our campground, and I knew it, and I think I probably got a little bit even complacent in how I felt, and I was ready to kind of be done for the day, and maybe I was even thinking about setting up camp and what that was going to be like. I think those things combined, it turns out, looking at the map, that it was probably one of the tightest turns that we had throughout the entire day. I basically gave up my motorcycle. It probably would have costed maybe $2,000 to fix, but it would have cost another $1,000 just to get it out of the towing lot, which was out in Borrego Springs, and try to get it back home. I had contacted them the day after, and I already decided I was going to turn the title over to them. I had to pay the towing fee and go down to Oceanside. And then I just happened to go to Oceanside yesterday because they had retrieved my GoPro off my bike. And I went down there, and in the lot there in Oceanside was my motorcycle, a sad little motorcycle. It was just sad to see that my little baby was there all alone, and I'm left without a motorcycle. So anyway, some good lessons learned. I really feel bad about missing the trip with Brian. I think we would have had a really good time, and I was looking forward to all the camping we were going to be doing. Anyway, until next time, till the next trip, we'll see you later.